Okay, now I'm recording. So let me come back here. So I can say enter your, let me say, age. You understand? Then I'll put something like this and I'll put a space. This looks more professional kind of. So enter your age. I have a colon, then I have a space. So I can say 45, enter. It returns back the 45 to me. You understand? So by default, anything you enter inside anything you give to this particular function here, it is going to be returning it as a string data type. So that is what it's going to be returning it as. It might be an objective question, just have it at the back of your mind. It may be an objective question. So let me clean all this. So now you know that this is a string now. I cannot do something like 45 plus 12. You understand? Let me do something reasonable here. Normally 2 plus 3 is what? 2 plus 3 is 5. Normally 2 plus 3 is 5. What if I do something like 2 plus input, then I say enter your, or I can say enter a number. So enter a number, I can say 45. You see what I'm getting here? I'm getting a type error. All these things, keep it at the back of your mind. Here, I'm getting a type error. And the reason why I'm getting a type error is because I'm trying to add an integer and a string together, which is impossible. Please mute your mic, Emmanuel. So I'm trying to add an integer and a string together. Now, they may ask you in objective, what are those two functions? Or what are the functions, the plus sign, this addition sign? What are the functions it can perform? It can be used to do addition and concatenation. Addition is like getting the total of two numbers. The two numbers can be integer, it can be integer float, and it can be float. You understand? Now, if you want to use it as a concatenator, it's going to be between two strings. For example, your first name and your last name. Concatenate everything together. You understand? But you cannot add an integer to a string. That is the reason why I'm getting a type error here. Unsupported operand. You understand? Now, but come to think of it, what if I want to receive a number from the user and I actually have to do some computation, some calculations with the number I'm collecting from the user? So all I have to do is quite simple. After you receive this input, you understand? You will first of all convert it to an integer, or you convert it to a decimal. You understand? There are two ways you can do it. The first way is you can do something like, let me write it here. So come here. Let me say, I believe we all understand the meaning of these three quotes, this thing I'm having here. It's for multi-line commenting. I explained in the last class. So come here and say, let me say x equals to 2, is equals to 3 rather. Then y equals to input, then let me say enter a number. But before I go, I'm going to be converting this to an integer. So what I have to do is that I will wrap the whole of this thing up. After wrapping it up, I will now put int here. Now, what this means is that after collecting whatever number you collect here, convert it to an integer. You understand? Then store it in the location y, where y is pointing to. You understand? So when you are done, print the value of x plus y. Close. Save and run. You understand? Enter a number. Let me say 45. You see what I'm having? 48. You understand? 45. See what I did here? I said enter a number. So whatever number it is, convert it to an integer, then add it to 3. I entered 45 plus this my 3 here. I'm getting 48. Shikina. But we may be in trouble. Let me save this program and run it again. Now, what if I do something like 23.4? You see what I'm having here? 23.4. The reason why I'm having a value error, is because what this one, I entered a decimal here. You understand? So if this one is giving me a decimal and I want to convert it, take it to an integer. You understand? This is issue here. Now the best thing to do anywhere you are using input, you understand? Instead of using int, but in this case now, if I had said maybe instead of int, I said float. You understand? If I save this and I come here, let me save and run it. Enter a number. If I say 34.5, I'm safe. I'll be getting 37.5. If I come here and save it and run it again, if I say 23, I'm safe. You understand? It is going to consider this 23 as 23.0. But mind you, like I told us in the last class, 2 and 2.0 is not the same thing. 2 is an integer, 2.0 is a float, and I explained the types of the data. Now, please, if you guys have any questions at any point, you can use the chat box. You understand? You can use the chat box. So, we are having 26.0 here. Now, the best thing to do, instead of using this float, what if I enter a string here? You understand? So instead of using float here, the best thing to use is this keyword called a val. You understand? Use a val input. So anything the person gives you, if it is an integer, Python will evaluate it as an integer. If it is a float, Python will evaluate it as a float. In both ends, you are safe. You understand? Let me save this and run it. Enter a number. Let me say 33. You understand? I'm getting 36, which is not a decimal. You understand? So if I save this and run it again, if I say 33.0, I'm safe. In this place, I'm getting 36. You understand? In this place, I'm getting 36.0. And like I told us in the last class, if you're adding an integer 33 and an integer 3 together, integer and integer, you're going to be getting an integer. But if you're adding a float, 33.0, to an integer 3, what you're going to be getting is 36.0, which is a float. Integer and float is going to be giving you float. Please don't forget, it might be an objective question, you can't say. So I believe we all understand how this input works now. Now let's go back here. See what they did here. They said radius equals to, if I want to write a program where the user will be the person to enter the value of the radius, you understand? So let's write our program too. So if I have something like r equals to a val, then input a val input, I can say enter the value of your radius. I think I still have to wait. If this thing is not blocking something. I'm coming, please. Okay. So now, since I have the value of my R now, I can come and say A, which is my area, equals to 3.142. 3.142 multiplied by R multiplied by R. Someone is at the door. Please mute your mic. So A equals to 3.142 multiplied by R and multiplied by R. You understand? So print A. Print A. So save this. Someone is at the door. So save and run. Now enter the value of your radius. The value of my radius, if it is 7 for example, you see what I'm getting, 153.193. So let me put a space. And another thing you can use here is an escape sequence. You understand? You can do something like \t. So this is an escape sequence. The computer will read this particular \t. The computer will read it differently. When we get to escape sequence, I'll explain better. But for now, just leave it like that. So r equals to eval input this. So a equals to 3.142 multiplied by r multiplied by r. So print whatever is the value of a. Let me see the value they used in their example. So we use that same value. They used 2.5 and the value is 19.63 blah blah blah. So run this program. 2.5, you see, 19.63 whatever. So I believe we all understand how this thing goes. The way they display their results, the area of the circle is this and this. Now there are two ways you can actually output this thing like this. You can output it directly like this. You can output with concatenation, and you can output using the formatted string. You understand? You can output like this. You can output using concatenation, and you can output using the formatted string. I'm going to be showing us how the three works. You understand? What they used here is that they just used all these ones as different arguments. The first argument, the second argument, the third argument, and the fourth argument. They just passed all the strings directly into the print function, which will work just fine. You understand? Now, let me say, instead of printing A directly, what I want to explain is 3 methods we can use to display our results. You understand? 3 methods we can use to display our results. Now, the first method, like they used in their example here, the first method, what they did was that they just passed the, what did they call it? All the strings, they passed everything together. Actually, all the values, they passed it together into print as different arguments. So what they did here is print, you can say, what did they call it? The string, the area of the circle with a radius of, they break out of this, they now say r, start another string, is, they close this one, so now you enter the value a. You understand? So if I save this and run it, enter the value of radius. If I say 2.5 for example, you see what I'm getting here. The area of the circle with a radius of 2.5 is this. You understand? This is just the way they just passed all these things directly. Wait, someone is at the door. So they just passed all these ones. They just passed it directly into the. They passed all these ones directly into the print function. You understand? Now the second technique. Using concatenation. Now I can say print. I can do something like message. You understand? Message equals to. Then I'll start concatenating. I will say this, the area of the circle with the radius of this. Copy this. Come here. I'm coming, please. So message equals to, come here, paste. With a radius of, then I'll concatenate r plus plus, where's my plus? Plus. I will now say is. I'll come again and say plus. Then I'll say A. But come to think of it, like I told us, if I try to run this program like this, it will not work. It will not work. If I try to run this program like this, let me now print message so I can show us. Let me print message and show us. Enter the value of radius. Let me say 2.5 as usual. See what I'm having here now. This first line here is what is bringing this one. You understand? But I'm having a type error again because you can only concatenate strings. You understand? String functions. Collection of characters. You understand? You can only concatenate string to string. You understand? Not float to string. One of the reasons why I like Python very, very well is that even the mistake you are making in the code, Python will show you. Like most programming languages actually. You understand? So what I have to do here is that this R now, this is not a string. I have to look for a way to make sure that all my operands are strings. So what I can do is I can just like the way I converted that input to integer the other time using int, then I wrapped the whole input inside the function. So I can say str open, then come here and close. So it is going to be converting this R into a string. You understand? I will come here again and wrap this A, str, wrap it inside string. Let me show you what it will do. Maybe that. So I can do something like, if I just give you 4 will give me 4. But if I say str, then I put 4 inside. See what I'm having? I'm having a string. You understand? Instead of just my ordinary 4. So come here and enter. You understand? If I now said, you should print message, save and run. See what I'm having? Okay, 2.5. You see, I'm having exactly this, almost the same thing, but the difference between this and this now is that I have to be manually putting this space. If you pass everything directly into the print function, print will give you the space by default. You understand? But this one, you have to put the space yourself. So there is this thing we used to do in Python. I don't know if it still works. Okay, it still works. It still works. So instead of going to the next line, what I did here is that I don't like the way this thing is going out of my screen. So I can just put a backslash there, then continue in the next line. You understand? So I can come here and put this. Come here, put this. Come here and put this. I save and run. I'm going to be, if I enter 2.5 here, you see, I'm having the same thing exactly. Now, this is the first method. This is the second method. Now, I can't remember what I called the last method. Who can remember what I called the last method, please? I don't forget. Who can recall what I called the last method? Who can? Nobody can remember. Una no dey talk. Una dey hear me at all? Una dey hear me at all?
Yes.
Okay, una dey hear. What did I call the last method now? I said there are 3 methods. Okay. Even myself, I don't forget. The first method I said it's passing the strings directly into the print function as argument. The second one is by using concatenation. Why? Now the third one is my favorite actually, using formatted strings. Now it's like creating a template of what the output should look like. Then you inject string inside the template. You understand? Let me show you how it works. It's like creating a template of what it should look like. Then you like inject data into the template. Let me say the third method using formatted string. Actually, these formatted strings, we have to. There are two ways you can write formatted strings in Python, but I only know one. I'm used to one. The second one, I don't use it often. So, buy me the lorry gun. So, the third method, I can say message equals to, I will now create a string, you understand? Then I'll put F at the, no. I'll put F at the beginning here to show that I want to format the string. So I'll say, let me copy this. Copy. So, come in please. So, I think this one should be 1 with, guy, come down. With a radius of, close this one. Okay. Now, see, don't forget I have my F here. The area of the circle with a radius of, then I will leave my space and I'll now use this thing. You understand? Of is, then I'll come again. This is curly bracket and this is curly bracket. I'll come here and put my R. I will come here and put my A. Shakener. Come to the next line and print your message. Save and run. So 2.5 as usual. You see, I'm having the same thing. Okay. This with A. I'm supposed to put a space here. Save. I like to be very, very precise in what I do. So 2.5. You see, I'm having exactly the same thing. 3 methods to solving the same problem. You understand? None of them is complicated, my people. None of them is complicated. I hope nobody's knocking at the door. Okay, nobody. So, that's, are they hear you?
That third method, I did not.
Okay, I'll explain again. I will explain again.
I don't understand that.
I go explain. No fear. So I want to increase the size of this one so we can see everything. Maybe it's because of how I stretched it. Now, this is the template of the string. You understand? This is what the string should look like. You understand? Just know that at this point, I'm injecting data into it. I'm injecting data here and I'm injecting data here. This is the original string. You understand? All these things is the original string. I might decide to do concatenation, but what I'm doing here is that I'm creating the string. I'm now saying at this point, it is T that I want. At this point, I want H. At this point, I want E. At this point, I want a space bar. All through like that. You understand? At this point, I want a space bar, but at this particular point, I don't know what is going to be there. But there is a variable called R. Whatever is the value of R, put it here. Then come down here. Here, I want a space bar. But with this, I don't know what is going to be there. But whatever is the value of A, finish. You understand? Do you understand now?
Yes.
You understand now? Okay. Let's continue. So save. I think since this is the window I'm using to do this thing, it should be bigger. This is my output window. We don't really need it. Okay. So let's come back here. So that is exactly what they did here. No long story. So scroll down. Now, if you want to compute average, for example, average of 3 different numbers, you understand? So let's write a program that will do that for us. Let me copy this. Control V. So 3 numbers. Who's at the door? 3 numbers. Going to be having 3 numbers. Let's say my numbers are going to be X, Y, and Z. You understand? So let me make sure this thing is in the middle. X, Y, and Z. I can say X equals to a val, then input. You say enter the first number. So put this and use. I like to use this escape sequence very much. So since this is what I'm going to be typing for the second one, let me just copy it and say y equals this, and also z equals this. Now to compute my average, I can say average equals to x. Don't forget, normally my average A will be for x, y, and z will be x plus y plus z. You understand? Everything divided by 3. That is going to be my average, taking 3 numbers into consideration. You understand? Now I have x, y, and z. How can I type this into my computer program here if I want to type it here? Now what I will do is that I can take all these my numerators together. You understand? After adding everything together, I will now divide by my denominator, which is 3. So what I'm going to be having as my average, you understand, will be, I will say x plus y plus z. I hope we are all following. So everything divided by 3. You understand? Let me clean this one here. So let me write the program and let us see how it works. So I can say average equals to, come here, x plus y. Come on, please. Sorry for the disturbance. Mumbai will concern me. Oh my God. Please, 1 second, please. Guys, shut up now. I'm coming, please. I just issues to solve here. How much do you order by?
25 you order, 45 you order by.
What is the premium?
Premium 45.
What is the standard?
Standard 25.
20, 25, 45.
10, 25, 45.
So it's just, what is the difference now?
The difference is
20.
20.
Coming, please. Coming 3, 20. Here is the extra. So you can So we are back to this place. Now x plus y plus, sorry for the delay, please. So x plus y plus z, then everything is going to be divided by 3. Everything is going to be divided by 3. So you can come here and print average. Save and run. Now, what is my first number? Let me say my No. Something is wrong here. Ah, something is wrong here. Now, this should be second, and this one here should be third. Turning color. Now, this should be second, and this should be third. Yes. So save, and run. So the first number 2, second number 3, third number 4. You understand? I have 3.0. Correct calculation. So I believe we all understand what I did here. So clean all these ones. So we move. Now, okay, they used 1, 2, 3, and the average is 2.0. I believe we all understand what I did there. So let's continue. Okay, see what I did the other time. See what I did there. So because the line was kind of too longer than my screen, so I used a backslash. Then I continued my this thing in the next line. And see what they did here. Everything is still correct. No this thing. Now identifiers. So the identifiers are variables basically. And variables, a variable is the name that you give to the location where data is stored. Instead of calling it something like 000111201010101 something, you can just give it a name you can remember vividly. It's a binary number normally. It should be a binary number. So instead of just saying all those rubbish, you can just give it a name you can remember. You understand? So that is just it. Now, scrolling down. So variables, assignment statements, and the expressions. As you can see from this program, what are they trying to do? Let us just, okay, if radius is 1.0, radius times this is this. This is the first area, and this is the second area. You understand? Now, this they used radius initially. The reason why we call it variable is because in the course of the program, the value can change. You understand? In course of the program, the value can change. See, the most variable, I think, of all the variables in our lifetime is our age. Every second, it is varying. So, even though the variable name is age, it can also change with time. You understand? Even though the variable name is age, with time, it can change. So that is the reason why we call it variable in the first place. In the first place, I hope you understand. So that is it. They say radius at the beginning here is 1.0. Then area is radius times whatever. Then we got a number. Then they came to compute the second area. Radius equals to 2.0. Area equals to this. Now the final value of radius is going to be this 2.0. You understand? This is going to be this one now. At the end of this program, the computer will even forget radius have ever been 1.0. You understand? The final value will be 2.0, while the final value of area will be this. Will be the value of 2 times 2 times 3.14 whatever. So now a variable can be equals to a value or an expression. You understand? Let me explain. A variable can be equals to a value can be equals to a value, or a variable can be equals to an expression. Oh my god. My writing is so bad on screen. But you manage it for me, I beg. So let me give us an example where a variable is equals to a value, and an example where a variable is equals to an expression. See this r equals to 7. A variable here is equal to a value. A equals to 3.142 multiplied by r. In this case, a is equal to an expression. You understand? This is a variable equal to a value, a variable equal to an expression. That is straightforward. You understand? So in this case where we have message, let me go up. In this case where we have message, a variable is equal to an expression. This is an expression, you understand? This is not just a value. Because there is a computation going on here. You understand? There is an action being taken here. It is not a static value, it's a dynamic value. You understand? So let me clean all this rubbish. Let's go back to our book. I was thinking we will finish by 9, but should we close the class now or stay 30 minutes more, please? We now know the talk. Maybe we close class now or maybe we stay 30 minutes. Is it a unanimous decision?
Let's stay 30 minutes.
Okay, 30 minutes more. No yawa. Okay. The book I'm using is still the same. Okay, I think I downloaded it from. I'm coming. Control H. I downloaded it from this link, so you can just go there. It is the same book they are using in CSC department. The same book. I don't know if I can attach the file there, but I can just send us the link. Python. This is where I downloaded it from. So you can just go there and download. That's where I downloaded from. Yes. So you can just go there and download. Let me paste it for us. You will see download as PDF there. So just download the PDF, put it on your phone. That is the same book that they are using for the course in CSC department. So nothing spoil. So let's continue. Okay. I think we have screwed too much. Okay, variable equals to expression. Yes. Now, see what they have here. Y equals to 1. What this one is doing is assign 1 to variable y. Now, radius is 1. Assign 1.0 to variable radius. 1 is an integer, don't forget. This is a float. You understand? Now, they said x here equals to 5 plus 3 over 2, whatever, times 2. X equals to y plus 1. Area equals to radius times 3.142. You understand? Compute area. The final value of x here is going to be this last one here. Whatever is the last, this last value of x, that is what x will be. So x will just be, what is y? 1. X will be y 1 plus 1, which is 2. You understand? This is going to be the final value of x. So you can use a variable in an expression. A variable can also be used in both sides of the equation. You understand? For example, see x equals to x plus 1. You understand? What is the initial value of x? 2 plus 1, 3. Now, what we are saying here, basically, is just increase the value of x by 1. Increase the value of x by 1. That is what they are doing here, basically. Sure you get? That is what they are doing there. I hope you understand. So, well, I'll take the silence as a yes. So, you cannot go and download this. Go and download the book. That is the same book they are using in CSC department for this course. So, now don't forget what they said here is this is an equation, but in Python this is an expression. Understand? In Python this is an assignment statement. Just don't forget. So now this thing also works. So this thing that is here, it also works. Multiple equals to. In case you see it in, what do they call it? In objective. If you see it in objective, it works. Assigning a value to multiple variables. You understand? What they are saying here is I equals to 1, j equals to 1, k equals to 1. You understand? And it is also equivalent to assigning k to 1. Then whatever is the value of k, assign it to j. Whatever is the value of j, assign it to I. You understand? No this thing. No long series. So now one thing is here, this is name error here. And this name error, when you used to see it, is when you try to use a variable without defining it. You understand? That is where name error comes into play. For example, I like using this illustration to explain name error. You understand? Now, imagine as an Igbo man, you get to your house after work one day, and you get to the parlor. Your children are there watching movie. So you know how many children when you born, or you born 5 children. None of them is bearing Chinaza. You understand? You just go there to the parlor. Nobody is bearing Chinaza. You just go there. Chinaza, come and see me in the room. Then you just enter the room. Your children will look at you 3 times and say, "She Papa, I know the lady." Because he knows the amount of children he gave birth to, and he knows none of them is bearing Chinaza. He just comes to the parlor and say, "Chinaza, come and see me in the room." Who will come and see you? Nobody will come and answer. You understand? Simply because nobody there is bearing Chinaza. You need to give birth to somebody, call the person Chinaza. You will name the person Chinaza before Chinaza is going to be answering you. I hope we all understand. So let's talk.
Yes.
We all understand, yes.
Yes, sir.
So that is it. Count equals to count plus 1. Count was not defined initially, you understand? So you cannot perform this particular operation here because count was not defined from start. You understand? So what you can do is that to rectify this kind of statement, if we go back to define count, then you come back to perform whatever operation you want to perform. I'm seeing caution here. Okay. Now, Python is case sensitive. I hope we all know by now. The reason why we refer to Python as a case sensitive language is because Ade with capital A is not the same thing as Ade with capital B. Sorry, with a small a. Ade with capital A is not the same thing as Ade with a small a. It is case sensitive. If you are saying interest rate and the interest is starting with a capital I and the interest is having a small r, just make sure the same. What I'm trying to explain is this thing that is here now is not the same thing as what is here. You understand? This r is small letter, this r is capital letter. So definitely those are 2 different variables. It will not work. What you are going to be getting here as well is a name error, simply because interest rate, the first one has the capital R, the second one has the small r, and as such, the second one is not defined, and you're trying to use it in an expression. So Python will not agree for you. I hope we all understand.
Yes.
So simultaneous assignments. Let's go to simultaneous assignments. Python supports simultaneous assignments like this. You understand? You can do variable 1 plus comma variable 2 comma variable 3. Everything equals to the first expression, the second expression, the third expression, like that. You understand? So let me try to explain what this one is saying here. Let me explain it. Now press this one inside. Please, can you mute your mic? The person with the mic, mute it. Tolu and Inde. So, okay. If you have something like x, comma y, comma z equals to 1, comma 2, comma 3, print. Let me clear this average first. Print x, print y, then later print z. Save it and run it. You understand? I'm having 1, 2, 3. So this is x, this is y, and this is z. Just the same way I assigned them there. You understand? No long stories. So that is why they call them simultaneous assignments. Where would they go abeg? Now at some point you might want to swap the value of x and y. You understand? you might want to swap the value of x and y. Let us do it here. So now, let me say you have x, y, and z here. I'm coming, please. Never carry light, so I have to go and my battery saver. Yes. So I'm having x, y, and z, and this. Now I want to swap the value of x and y, for instance. So what I can do is that I can say x. I'm coming, please. I can say x, comma y equals to y, comma x. Come to the next line and save it. I can print the new value of x and y. Let me say new x and y. So I'll come here and print x, then print y. I can't think of a mathematical procedure where you need to swap the value of x of two values. I can't really think of anyone now. If you guys can think of anyone now, just talk so we can use it to explain this thing better. Swapping this thing. If you can think of anyone, just speak up. For now, I can't think of anyone. So let's just go with it like this. So you see, this is x, this is y, and this is z. You understand? Now, the new x and y, like I've already swapped here. X is now 2 and y is 1. You understand? I believe we all understand. No long thing.
Yeah.
So computing average with simultaneous assignment. You understand? Now, see what they did here. See what they did here. Eval input. Just one eval input. With it, you can just enter 3 different values. You understand? So what you have to do in this case, when you are entering the values, is to separate them with a comma. It will know automatically that. Let us do it. This NEPA people. So now imagine I have something like x, comma y, comma z equals eval. Someone is at the door. Someone is just coming. Now wow. Eval input. Then enter a number. No, I can say enter 3 numbers with a comma separator. I hope this my separator is correct. So I can just \t. I love using the backslash. This escape sequence very, very much. So to compute the average, I can just print. I can say x plus y plus z all divided by 3. Save it and run it. So enter 3 values with a comma separator. Let me say 2, 3, 4. Enter. You understand? I have 3.0. It works just fine. You understand? Simultaneous assignment. Let's continue. Named constants. You understand? Now, it's a common practice that at some point in mathematics, you will want to work with a constant. They are not variable. The reason why we call them variable is because the value can change with time. Understand? During the course of the program, the value can change. Now, let us think of constants like pi. Pi is 22/7 from today till tomorrow. The gravitational constant is there. Constant, like the name implies. Another thing is the what do they call it? I can't think of any constant now. I'm a constant in Wolotunwa. I'm a constant in Wolotunwa. What to pie chart? I beg we'll continue, Charlie. Leave this useless boy with you. So the value of variable may change during the execution of the program, but a named constant or simply a constant represents permanent data that never changes. Now, in our compute area program, like the one we did initially, pi is a constant. If you use it frequently, you don't have to keep typing 3.14 whatever. Instead, you can just use a descriptive name like pi for it. Now, just take note, it might be an objective question. Python does not have any syntax. Python didn't make any preparations or any, they didn't put any modalities for you to declare constants. Have it at the back of your mind. It might be an objective question. Python no get wetin they carry they declare constant. You understand? So you can simply create a variable to denote a constant using capital letters. You understand? If you take it as your own personal convention that anytime you have capital letters, then that thing is a constant. Anytime you are writing your program within the course of the execution, the value will not change. You understand? To distinguish a constant from a variable, use all uppercase letters to name a constant. It is only a convention. You understand? It is not a rule. Python did not make any provision for constants. You understand? So, however, to distinguish a constant from a variable, use all uppercase letters, blah blah blah. So, radius is this, pi is this. Area equals to radius multiplying pi, multiplying radius multiplying pi. I believe we all understand what is happening here. So, numeric data types. Numeric data types. Now, yes. This is it. I was talking about integer division the other day. And, okay, there's no modular division in Python, I'm sorry. I just know there's integer division. There's no modular division. Now, Python has two numeric data types. We have the integers and the floating point numbers. You understand? Like I told us that day. So these are the what do they call them? The mathematical operators available. So integer types, whatever. So real types are for representing numbers with a fraction part. So inside the computer, these two types of data are stored differently. Real numbers are represented as floating point numbers. But how do we tell Python whether a number is an integer or a float? Now, a number that has a decimal point is a float. You understand? Like I told us, 2.0 is not 2. Okay, I have class now. So, these two numbers are stored differently in the computer. So, I think you should keep this thing at the back of your mind for objective. Literals. Just write it somewhere. A literal is a constant value that appears differently in a program. So these are all the addition, subtraction, multiplication, float division, yes. The normal division now. Then we have integer division. I think the normal division that we know in school is float division. That's what they call it. The normal division we have in school, they taught us in school, is float division. Now, integer division is just this one. It's this one with double backslash. I told us that day that the integer division, if you are dividing something like 2 by 10, what you are going to be having is 0 remainder 2. So your value will be 0. You understand? Let's say you are dividing 5 by 2. What you are going to be having is 2 remainder 1. You understand? So the answer will be 2 because you are taking the integer that is there. That the division is with reference to the integer that is there. So the integer 2 is going to be the answer. The remaining point, which is the floating point, which is 1, you throw it away. You understand? So see this one now. 4 divided by 2, the normal distance. But 5 double backslash 2. Like I told us just now, 5 over 2 normally will be 2 remainder 1. So you take the whole number 2, you throw away 1. 2 backslash 4 normally will be 0 remainder 2. So you take the 0 and throw away the 2. That is just what that one is saying. So where else? Now this is raised to power exponentiation. You understand? Let me come here and demonstrate it. If I want to do 2 cube, I can just say 2 double multiplication 3 enter. You understand? I have 8. That is what is happening here. That is what is happening here. No too much stress. If I want to do raised to power minus 1, for example, 2 raised to power minus 1, 2 raised to power minus 1 will be 1 over 2. That should be 0.5, I guess. I still sabi maths like this. 2, so no, 2 raised to power minus 1, it should be 1 over 2. Wait, 2 raised to power
1 over 2 raised to power
minus 1. I still sabi maths small. Really. So, I was talking about the modular operator the other time. So this operator here, percentage sign, I doubt they added it to this. You see, they didn't add it here. That is the modular division. The modular division. That's what they have here. Understand? So they are just explaining it here. All this rubbish. What they are just trying to say in this place now is, if you have something like 7 divided by 3, you understand? Normally, this is going to be giving you, I think it should be 2 remainder 1. This is what it's going to be giving you. But with this modular division, if you are doing something like 7, 3, this is going to be equals to this remainder here. It's going to be equals to 1. Because it's going to be it will take away this remainder. I don't know, you can call it remainder division. You understand? The remainder division, modulo operator, the remainder division. That is what this one is doing. So let me clean all this. So at exactly 9:25, I'll be opening the ground for question and answer. So if you have any question, you can just ask me. So scroll. Okay. So now, if you want to see what they are doing here, see what they do here, displaying time. Now, if you want to convert from seconds to minutes, normally, you understand? You can just do seconds, double backslash, then 60. You get how many minutes? Only the minutes. Let's try to demonstrate it with the remaining 3 minutes we have. For example, if I have 70 seconds and I want to get how many minutes that is inside the 70 seconds, normally if I try to divide by 60, you understand? What I will be having is 1 minute remaining 10 seconds. You understand? But if I use the double backslash, 70 double backslash 60, this one will simply be equals to 1. This 10, I will throw it away because I don't need it. The only thing I need is just the number of minutes inside it. You understand? Now, since I've gotten the whole number, how can I get the remaining minutes, seconds to your left? You understand? Not the number of minutes inside the second. After you remove that minute, how many is remaining? If I want to get that one, I can simply say 70, then the modular division, 60. This one will be equals to 10. You understand? Now, this is the number of minutes and this is the number of seconds shaken. And that is all these things they are trying to do here. So I believe you all understand. Let's continue. Okay, so scientific notation. Now, I think we should stop here. I think we should stop here. So this will not be too much information for us. I think we should stop here. So this is where we are going to be stopping for today. That scientific notation will get us a bit. But you can go and read it prior to next class. You can go and read it. I need you guys to digest all these ones first. All the exercises you can lay your hands on about this. Go and try to know them very, very well. So I want to open the floor for question and answer now. If you have any questions, please ask. If you have any questions, please ask. Ask your questions.
Yeah.
The floor.
Alvin,
I dey hear you.
last in our last class,
Uh-huh. I dey
we
hear
talked
you.
about paint mass.
Uh-huh.
You talked about paint mass. I said you get back. Yes.
About one of them. Yes. Wait, let me I spoke about pen pen mass. Now I said this P is standing for parenthesis. Have you? This E is what do they call it? Exponentiation. Okay, I think it is N that is here. This N is standing for negation, understand? Then this D is standing for division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. This is the scale of preference that the computer will be using to solve whatever problems you supply to it, mathematical, whatever. So this is parenthesis, exponentiation. This should be N, not M. This should be N. So this is negation. You understand? For example, negative 3 is false. Negative 4 is true. So that is it. Have I answered you? Ogashi, I don't answer you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, please?
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions? Yeah. I don't hear you. Any other questions? Any other questions?
Yes, I think there's a question in the
Okay.
something.
A recap. Don't worry, there is a video. I'm recording a video for us, so just go and watch the video. Just go and watch the video. Any other question? Any other question? Okay. Why not just ask your questions here, Israel? Why not just ask your questions? My message for WhatsApp plenty. If you ask question and I don't answer you for two years, you don't go vex. Message plenty, I beg. Just ask here. Just ask here.
Alvin, I beg, help us recap on the backslash. This
Backslash. What backslash exactly?
open your code, the green one.
Say what?
Open the code, the
Okay. Uh-huh.
yeah, your last statement where you use the black slash T.
I said this backslash T is an escape sequence. Don't worry. When we explain strings, for now we are still under what do they call it? Numerical data type. Wait. Let me see if I can scroll down to where the strings are. So you can just go and read more on the escape sequence. Escape sequence. You will be given something like this to solve an exam. So you guys should better be serious. Escape sequence. All these ones. I think it's in the next chapter where they explain strings. Escape sequence. It should be there. I think the next chapter is dedicated solely to strings. The next chapter is dedicated to strings only. Wait. Let me scroll down to see if. Okay, strings. I'm seeing strings somewhere there. So, strings and characters. It should be somewhere here. They come, I beg. Yes, yes, yes.
You
You
don't
see,
pass am, you don't pass am.
now the escape sequence will be this. Now
Yeah.
the escape sequence will be this. Now, if you say backslash B, you're trying to do a backspace. But I've never had any reason to use this one before, so I can't really say much about it. But you see this backslash T that I've been using since. You understand? A tab. It is giving you a tab spacing. Backslash N is a line field going to the new line. That is what this one is for. Line field. Now, backslash F is form field. I've never used this one before. And I don't think I've ever used this R. But this double backslash is when you want to write a string. And you know, normally this backslash is going to be starting an escape sequence. But if you do double backslash, it's just going to give you a backslash. If you want to write a backslash in your string. Now, if you want to do single quote, you know that this single quote is already starting a string or is ending a string. So putting a single quote in your string again, it will cause wahala. So that's the reason why we have this backslash here. So this one is for double quote. When I get to strings, you will understand that one better. You understand? But you can just go to page 70 in the book. I hope we've all downloaded the book. Just go to page
Yeah.
70 there, then you guys will read more about it. It's not something complicated.
All right. Thank
So
you.
now so it be. So Israelite, everything we did is in the ebook. You can just go and read the ebook through. I don't have I didn't do a recording for the last class, but I'm recording for this particular class. So see, Chukwemeka Ladima left. I know him. Padi me then. Osalo. So any other question, please? Any other question? Any other question? Okay. In the absence of no question, thank you very much. Israel, you can just go to the book I sent. Everything is